Oh my god. Oh my god, how many? Jesus, stop! Stop it, she's already dead! Me? You? Yugioh. I didn't have to film a fucking intro. Guys, Yu-Gi-Oh is weird. If you somehow don't know, it was a cultural phenomenon in both Japan and North America. Manga, anime, card games, video games, so much stuff, dude. It would have been like Pokemon if not for like... It doesn't have perfect mass appeal, yeah, but it's got a hardcore fan base. So with all this stuff, you gotta figure they made some questionable additions to the franchise. Yeah, there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh games where you just play the card game, which is great if you don't want to spend all your money or don't have friends. Don't get me wrong, right? Some of them don't even play accurate to the rules of the game, which... that's dumb. But man, they made a lot of stupid games. Let's start with one we all know, Dungeon Dice Monsters. I'm sure a lot of kids watching the anime saw the arc with Dungeon Dice Monsters and thought, oh my god, so cool. I want to have dice too, and bought the game. I didn't, so what's a kid to do but buy the game? This game is fucking horrible. It took me an hour playing, observing, analyzing patterns, symbols, any hint I could glean to figure out what the fuck is going on. The point is literally just to roll dice, place monsters which simultaneously builds the terrain, then attack the opponent's roly-poly dumbass at the end. Alright, the problem is that you're supposed to read the manual, which I don't have, and there's so much going on that's in no way intuitive. You're rolling dice and there's all these weird symbols, and then you collect the number of those symbols you roll. The trick is those are actions, basically, that you're storing up. Movement crests, attack crests, defense crests, etc. How the fuck do I summon? I keep picking monsters and they won't come out. This is stupid. Oh, so it turns out the dice are not equal. Coming in, you know, in a vacuum, you might assume the dice are equal. But no, some give more move crests on average. Weaker monsters are really easy to summon by comparison to strong ones, except I also had games where I couldn't summon my big monsters over 30 minutes of in-game time. I don't know what the statistical breakdown of that is when you just need 2 3-star symbols, but holy shit, dude. The AI in this game is remarkably stupid. I just defaulted to spamming low-level monsters, building a bridge to the boss and whacking him. Half the time, the enemy either couldn't react because he couldn't summon, or he chose not to react because he just wanted to rest, cursing his worthless existence in this horrible Game Boy game. Maybe the next one will be better. What? What the fuck? Yu-Gi-Oh! Destiny Board Traveler. What else can I say? This game is immediately on my shit list for turning the card game into fucking Monopoly. I'm not kidding. It turns out the point of this game is to put monsters everywhere, like houses in Monopoly. Who the fuck's copying Monopoly? You know, the famous art game invented to emulate the miserable rat race of capitalism? Okay, it's a little bit more, and a lot less than that. For example, you can pick your character, even Pegasus. Alright game, not bad. The gameplay's just, you move whatever number of squares. I again do not have a manual, so this is just hieroglyphics, not sorry. There's nothing even slightly obvious about this game except how much it sucks. I'm trying to summon, but I can't do anything. I'm constantly getting wrecked on the first level. Why would anybody play this? If you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh games, you at least want monsters and battles, right? I mean, yeah, oh, fucking, you can battle with these fucking JPEGs or whatever, but it's nothing even close to the rest of the games. Not even Dungeon Dice Monsters. Even IGN agrees with me, Jesus. But that's the GBA games. How about the early 2000s consoles? The PS2 got a banger in Capsule Monster Coliseum. Basically, they turned Yu-Gi-Oh into an srpg. It's not amazing, but it's got cards, it's got monster battles, it lets you pick a starter deck of a chosen element. Whew! I think my 9-year-old self just had a stroke. This game is so cool. It's got neat, dynamic battlefields with special terrain, changing terrain, dangerous terrain. They're better than some of the battlefields in famous srpgs. This is the first and only game on the list where I just chilled and played games while recording, and I can actually recommend it to fans of the series. Every monster has a different capacity for movement, a different attack range, and threat array, is that a good way to put it? Basically, some monsters attack diagonally and others horizontally. It's really weird for someone who's predominantly played Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem. Speaking of those games, this game has permadeath. Okay, it doesn't, but it turns out if your monster gets destroyed, it can't participate in the next battle. This seriously took me off guard and got me changing my party and tactics constantly. It was surprisingly effective and fun. I will say, if you hold back, wait for the enemy to move, then just collapse on them when they're vulnerable, and they will make themselves vulnerable, the difficulty is sucked out almost completely. Patience and experience with tic-tac-toe or chess makes this game extremely simple. But not every PS2 game was simple, and not every PS2 game was good, and this game is probably where I'm gonna get into trouble with fans. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses, by far the closest to the card game than any of the others on this list, even though it's really just another srpg but treading a much thinner line between the genres. This game. Actually, let's put gameplay on the back burner for a minute. You know, I always kind of accepted the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime story about the ancient Egyptians summoning monsters and Pegasus saying,
"I'm turning this shit into trading cards."
And also, the characters in the modern day existed back then because of fate and history repeating itself. Yeah, it's a dumbass story, but you never really realize how truly stupid it is until Yu-Gi-Oh! Is invading your culture. So this game is about the English Civil Wars, commonly called the Wars of the Roses, that took place from 1455 to 1487. You can't make this shit up. Real historical figures have anime hair now. Yugi, also called Henry Tudor in brackets, you know, this guy is here, and he's got his quote-unquote druid to summon a hero, so the player, into England to fight the Yorkists, as represented by none other than Seto Kaiba. Holy shit, dude. Why even react to this? This is nonsense. It even lets you side with Kaiba instead of Yugi, just for fun. Props for letting me play the villain. This game is a tutorial that lasts about 20 minutes. That goes on for a while. Thankfully, you can skip to the overworld. I had no idea England was surrounded by an ocean of piss. So it's a card srpg. It's got elements of the actual game, life points, attack and defense mode, maybe other things, I don't know, but the srpg elements are the most annoying. Terrain gives different monsters different bonuses, so there's times where you're sure you've got a kill or a perfect wall, but then, oops, the enemy's stats are up 500 apiece. Idiots! You get points every turn to cast monster cards, so you have to strike a balance between summoning weak monsters rapidly or saving up for the big ones. You can even combine cards to make overpowered combinations that make this game extremely speedrunnable, so sorry to those people, your game is a nightmare. Like most of these games, you have to protect your deck master or whatever, but they can move. So you gotta chase the dude all over the stage early on, and that's just so much fun. And combat's exactly what you expect, except, actually, they put a lot of effort into this game, to be fair. I was openly shocked that they gave some of the monsters multiple animations. It's actually kind of impressive. Like, somebody had to work on the renders and animations for this game about teenagers from Japan playing a children's card game in medieval England as a representation of real battles where people actually died and the course of history was decided. It's fucking disgraceful. So how'd the GameCube turn out? Nintendo fans got Yu-Gi-Oh! The False-Bound Kingdom, a game about the Yugi gang getting sent into a digital fantasy world where the Japanese developers didn't know how to give things fantasy European names. Chelium, Gigansip, Sugat, Sigvarths! Ah yes, the famous Sigvarths, right off the lake Kakapupu. Shoot me in the fucking head. Yeah, of all the things I didn't expect to be sloppily jammed into Yu-Gi-Oh's gaping design space was the real-time strategy genre. What's worse is it's a slow as fuck baby's first JRPG too. So you send out your unit who commands a team of monsters, and when they fight somebody, it turns into a 3v3 focus one monster until the enemy can't win situation, except for whatever reason, the battle ends prematurely sometimes, which happens a lot, and I can't really figure out how they determine the winner. Like, I swear this guy just got his ass kicked, but oh no, I'm the loser. Okay, sure. I'm not even sure what the consequences are, because if a fight doesn't end with one side completely dead, the fight's just gonna happen again literally 5 seconds after it failed. It sucks, especially when you're juggling multiple unsuccessful battles. Yeah, strategy is there somewhere, but it's not like micromanaging these guys is hard. You've got 3 to start, and they're already super slow on their own. What sucks is constantly fighting battles back to fucking back because you can't effectively kill the enemies, and some enemies are just plain unfair, it feels like. I don't know why anybody would sit through this. I can see why with the last 2, but this? How can it get any worse than this?
Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Wheelie Breakers!
You guys play a card game? Yu-Gi-Oh! Wheelie Breakers is based off the 5D's anime, so the 3rd season of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, set in a dystopian future, or at least it must be, because of the literal teenagers playing Darkness of Motorcycle! Let me repeat that. They play card games on motorcycles. This game never had a chance, realistically speaking. It's a racing game, and it's a card game, and you beat up other players with your monsters sometimes. Actually, this is sounding a lot like Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart, but one-on-one Mario Kart without the fun. It's me, KBash, and I'll be riding my trusty So these games have either had zero tutorial or too much tutorial so far. This game just kind of throws you in. Hey kid, you read the manual? No? Good, we hate reading. What do your cards do? Enjoy reading the tiny text while you're trying to make that turn. So like, you just ride around these giant barren tracks with your one opponent doing stuff. Most of the cards limit what the opponent can do or temporarily speed you up and stuff. Summoning monsters is the real fun, right? Where they sit over your head like a dumbass with nothing to do. That is until I found out you can turn around, ride backwards, yes, ride backward and blast the enemy while you're winning. Oh no, I'm sure any teenager could do that. What are you, a child? So you could unlock bikes, and you could unlock cards, and you could try to play the game, right? But why would you want to? Why would you want to when you're 26 years old, sitting in your basement watching a franchise you loved growing up get bastardized with motorcycles and the best Yu-Gi-Oh character design in years? I can't fucking beat this guy, seriously. I keep getting closer and closer every time. It's, god damn, ugh. Fuck, are you kidding me? All right, this is it. Here we go, eat a deal. What the fuck? Oh, god damn it. Are you fucking kidding? More like Yu-Gi-Oh! Wheelie broken. It's too strong. I'm scared I'm gonna fucking get it all in my face. Fucking capitalism. This is what you've done to me.